Start, good afternoon. Good afternoon, board members, Mr. Santos and district staff. Time is 12:05 p.m. on this 20th day of October 2020, and I call this meeting of the United Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. I'm going to have each board member present and online if they can recite their full name, please.
Ted Gilpin, present.
Ricardo Molina, Senior, present.
Juan Roberto Ramirez, present.
Ricardo Rick Rodriguez, present.
All right, myself, Ramiro Vélez. Thank you. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Agenda item 4, or we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and the
Allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Honor the
Texas flag.
Teachers to thee, Texas, one state under God, one
and indivisible.
Item 4, no public comments. We'll move to agenda item 5, informational items. 8, the monthly financial report from the finance division.
Good afternoon, board members, Mr. Vélez, Mr. Gilpin, members of the audience. We're bringing our superintendent's monthly financial report as of September 30th. There you'll see that we had a cash investment balance of $162 million. 44% of this is in general fund, and then about $77 million is still in our construction fund. 12% of the total portfolio are in demand accounts, and there you'll see the yields that we've been getting, which is 0.59%, and the current pull rate is 0.22%. The administrative cost ratio, we're at 8.42%. We had budgeted 8.37%, but both numbers are still below the amount allowed by TA, which is 11%. Our current year-to-date revenues for the first year, this is the first month of our fiscal year, so we're at 36.6 million of 401.6 million budget, or 9%, 9.13%. Last year at this time, we were about 9.98%. And then our expenditures were at 47.7 million, or 11.9% of our budget, and last year we're at about 11.78. So we're kind of on track from last year. Our tax office report, our current collection rate, we're at 99.68%. 225.1 million were collected from the levy from last year. And then to date for the current levy, we're at 3.55%. Statements went out about 2 weeks ago, and believe it or not, our taxpayers are coming in and paying their taxes. Delinquent collection rate at 53%, and last year we were at 32%. And that's pretty much, there's some bids and proposals awarded by the board through last month. And then there's a grant report available. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
No questions. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Item B, 2019-2020 bilingual program annual evaluation.
Yes, good afternoon, members of the board, Mr. Santos. At this time, we're required to Chapter 89. The evaluation requires school districts to conduct a bilingual education for English as second language ESL annual program evaluation in accordance with Texas Education Code AC 29.053. I'll be brief in the presentation. Anytime you have any questions, please stop me. So we start off with the reclassification. These are students that are tested annually. And after the OPAC meeting, the committee decides whether these students will be exited or not. If we look at 2000 at the bottom, 2019-2020, out of 42,982 students, 13,575 were delivered English students. Compared to this year at 1434, we look at the fourth row, the ESL meeting reclassification. This year we only have 373. And we ask ourselves, why the big difference in the previous year, 2031? The reason for this is a statewide issue. We have no start data to compare it with, so the only data we have is really with our TELPA scores and the lost links for little ones. And for a student to be exited, the criteria would be they have to score advanced high in all 3 domains, listening, reading, and writing. This is the reason that we have so little. Now, the bright side on it, with the more students that we have with the limited English, we get more funding from the federal government. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. But we're doing well, but this is a report that we have to report for board every year. Okay? Sure. We look at graduation rate, another requirement here. There's 4 rows that just shows the 4 high schools. Graduation rate is normally 90 percentile. With the EL students, they're a little lower. Again, this is regional, state, and we're not the exception. So we do have a plan, and each campus has their CIP campus program plan to show these improvements. And each year we have different populations, but we continue to do well. And although most of them are 80 percentile, we continue to show improvements from year to year. Going back to TEDPAS, and again, we look at different categories: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. You see where it's tested BIA, it stands for beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So going all the way across, the progress at the state from K to 2, the state was at 35, region was at 42, UIZ is 62% progress. We look at 3rd to 12, again, we are ahead of the state, the region, and the state. At the bottom, UIZ total attainment and progress, 46%. The target that TA tells us 36%, so we're ahead by 10 points. And again, going back to the data, we have no STAR data due to the COVID-19. Excuse me. The other criteria for the bilingual department instructional coordinators offer sessions through this school year's professional development. So it shows the number of sessions, the number of participants, PD provided for classroom teachers, for English learners. And these are just different sessions that are offered, elementary sessions offered and secondary sessions offered. The exception report, the annual report should reflect the number of bilingual exceptions and or ESL waivers, and really this is the commissioner's ruling concurring state planning for education English learners, the 2 plans that we offer, the transitional bilingual early exit and the pull-out program. So we'll continue to do these daily really with our students. Then by the number of exceptions, we are improving with less exceptions. We look at 2019 to 2020. The bilingual exceptions were 75. We had ESL waivers of 18. This year, bilingual exceptions 69 and ESL waivers are 17. So again, we'll continue to improve. And the exams as well for our teachers that are being trained. As you know, they have to be bilingually certified. ESL program, work with our students. We'll continue with the next slide. So this is just an example of different trainings we offer our teachers. We work closely with our instructors with the technology department, Judy Garcia. And 2 more slides, we have the ESL progress letters. These are sent to parents once the students progress and when they exit the program. And the last slide is an example. What we have in our CIP, our campus program plan, each campus has an EL population plan to address those limited English students. And this sample is from Kennedy Zapata. Each campus has their own improvement plan, and each campus is required to have a plan to address this population. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez, for the information. Agenda item 6, items for individual consideration. Item 6A, approval of monthly disbursements.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bellis, Mr. Gilpin, and board members attending online, members of the audience. The Division of Finance presented you with the disbursements for the month of September. If you all have reviewed them, I don't know if you all have any questions at this point.
No questions, Mr. Flores. Is there a motion regarding the approval of monthly disbursements? So moved. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
So move.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None opposed, motion passes. Item 6B, approval of end of year outstanding encumbrances.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bellis. The Division of Finance this year for closing the fiscal year of 1920 has $2,299,618 worth of commitments that were created in the fiscal year 1920. However, we did not receive the merchandise, nor have we made a payment on these items. So we have to come to the board and ask your permission to re-encumber these existing POs into the 2021 fiscal year. If you look at the history, you can see that from last year, 1819 to 1920, we had a 27% drop, where we were at $3.2 million last year. Now we're only at $2.3 million. We've been getting better and more efficient, better communication with the campuses and departments throughout the district. And as we get towards the end of the year, we have dialogue with them, and we've been able to close commitments that were no longer needed. If you recall, prior years before these 3-year history here, we were always at $5 to $6 million. So we made significant increase in these open purchase orders. If you go on to the next page, it's just the detail of the same number. You can see the various departments that will be the next page. These are the departments and the areas that will have these existing commitments. Athletics, you'll see it's 177,000. They're always going to be on here. Athletics does very, very well of ordering merchandise outside of season to get discounts. So they'll always be on this list when they buy these equipment and everything for, let's say football, but they buy it out of season. So these POs will be on the books for a while. The COVID-19 is something new. We probably won't have this again. That 564,000 represents the district's 25% share of a larger number that we're applying for relief from the CARES Act. This one specifically is a Corona Relief Fund. We had a total of $2.3 million. And this is the 25% commitment of the POs that we are going to have to pay and get reimbursed on an additional $1.7 million. And then you can see the various departments as we go down. You see Elias Herrera Middle School. Those are really startup supplies and materials, a little bit of construction that still exists at the school. But within the next, I would say 60 days, we'll probably pay down those particular POs. And energy management facilities, again, little projects that they weren't able to get to, but the money is there. So we recommit these monies, they'll be able to complete those projects. We also had some storm damage. We're down to only about $56,000. It represented pretty much a lot of the schools in the south. There was some roof repairs and some canopy repairs. And then technology infrastructure. We had some POs that are allowing us to perform better with a lot of online services. And some of the equipment is not here yet, so we anticipate receiving it and paying it in the 2021 fiscal year. The last page of this presentation is just aging the POs. And you'll see that we have 744,000 over 90 days. Those are mainly a lot of construction projects that just take a while to get off the books. And we pay them down as we go. It's a percentage of completion approach. I don't know if the board has any questions at this point.
That's already been reserved from the general fund.
Yes, sir. Those were POs that were commitments that were made during the 1920 school year, but we didn't either complete or receive the merchandise, and we have not paid that PO. So
I walked in a little late, but so from the balance that you gave us last time, we were talking about the supplemental pay and all that, that's already been accounted for.
Yeah, this is really in last year's budget. It's money that's already budgeted. The services were not provided, therefore we're rolling that amount for this year as the services are provided that we pay for.
right, yes, sir. Because the purchase order, remember, is a legal commitment, so we issued the PO.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Is there a motion regarding the approval of end of year outstanding encumbrances as presented?
So move.
A motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
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 Those opposed? None opposed, motion passes. Item 6C, approval of property tax refunds for the month of September 2020.
Good afternoon again. We're recommending that the UISD Board of Trustees approve the tax refunds that are attached on the next page. It's one taxpayer, Transform KM LLC, for $5,331.07. It was for an overpayment by this taxpayer. I have Ms. Gatz on the Zoom if you have any questions.
No questions. If they overpaid, they overpaid, so we'll refund it.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion regarding the approval of property tax?
So move.
refunds? Motion, and we have a second.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None opposed, motion passes. Item 6D, approval of designation of Elizabeth Garza to serve as district's record management officer.
Administration recommends to designate Elizabeth Garza to serve as the district's record management officer per CPC legal policy.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr.
So
Montgomery.
moved.
Second,
Second.
a second, any further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
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 All those opposed? Opposed, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 6C, approval of awarding bids, proposals and qualifications.
Good afternoon. For the record, Corey Jackson. Administration has the following recommendations for your consideration. RFP 2020-020 food produce vendors to Brothers Produce, Labatt Food Services, Lopez Vera Produce, RC Food Service and Produce, and Westside Produce. We also, for RFCQ 2020-053, we recommend to table this item and bring it at a later board meeting. RFP 2020-054, mariachi uniforms, equipment, supplies, and sheet music to the vendors listed in the summary, which is the next page.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Do we have a motion regarding the approval
So
of
moved.
proposals or qualifications? Motion to approve it. Motion to approve is presented. Do we have a second? Second. Motion a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None opposed, motion passes. Thank you, ma'am. Item 6F, consideration and possible action to approve third amendment to design build contract between United IZ and Design Builder Line Deck and Construction of Texas, requesting a substantial completion date of August 26, 2021, and relating to RFQ 028-2015.
Good afternoon again. This is a no-cost change order or third amendment to our design build contract for the Aquatic Center. The current design build company, Line Decker Construction, is requesting 207 days be added to their contract and making the substantial completion of this project January 31st, from January 31st, 2021 to August 26, 2021.
Is it just more additional time? Is that correct? Is that what they're?
This is just time, no cost. And the time is due to a combination of rain delays as well as the pandemic with being able to staff the project appropriately.
Correct. Okay. Do we have a motion? Motion.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
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 Those opposed? None opposed, motion passes. Item 6G, approval of RFCQ CQ 2020-010 Redistricting Services.
Yeah, Courtney, let me make a recommendation. My recommendation would be Orlando Rios and Associates as our redistricting services. We had a committee, evaluated all the different people that submitted the qualifications, and that is my recommendation.
Thank you, Councilor. Motion to approve as recommended. Second. Motion, a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
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 All those opposed? None opposed, motion passes. Item 6H, approval of sale or disposition of salvage furniture and equipment.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Vélez, members of the board, Mr. Santos, members of the audience. This time I bring before you the recommendation for approval for sale or disposition of salvage furniture and equipment as per the attached list. At the September 2020 regular board meeting, I did bring a preliminary list for your approval in order to be able to put for sale desk, chair, and combos for UISD parents. But at that time, the list was preliminary, and we added a substantial amount of more items, some school buses, as well as some more computers and furniture and equipment. And so this is the final list. We are planning on having in mid-November, possibly on November 13th, a live simulcast auction through the internet. And possibly we'll have one more in December based on the volume of merchandise available for sale or disposition.
Thank you, Mr. Cavazos. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? None opposed, motion passes. Thank you, sir. Item 5I, approval of donations.
Yes, Mr. Valley's members of the board, it is recommended that the board trustees graciously accept the following donations. And this will be attached to the minutes. We have 3 donations over $1,000. UISD received a donation of $2,835 from Linebacker Construction to purchase additional UISD shirts for new employees. The United ISD received a donation of $3,150, again from Linebacker Construction, to purchase UISD jackets for principals in honor of a Principal's Week. The United South High School, United South Middle School, and the K department received a donation of 1,270 reusable masks from Laredo Economic Development Corporation. Approximate value is $2,540. I want to thank all these Linebacker Construction Company and of course the Laredo Economic Development Center for their support.
All right. Motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 All those opposed? None opposed, motion passes. Item 6J, approval of board minutes for the month of June 2020. Do we have a motion regarding the approval of board minutes?
So move.
Motion a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None opposed, motion passes. Item 6K, approval of the district improvement plan and campus improvement plans.
Mr. Valley moves the board again, Mr. Santos, members of the audience. Like we do every year in accordance with the Texas Education Code 11.251, the board trustees have responsibility to ensure that a district improvement plan and improvement plans for each campus are developed, reviewed, and revised annually for the purpose of improving performance for all students. So at this time, I will share with you that each campus improvement plan has been reviewed by their respective executive director of campuses and our director of school improvement is Melissa Cruz and myself. And I'll bring the district improvement plan also. Each year, the board does approve the district campus improvement plan objectives to ensure that plans are mutually supported to accomplish the identified objectives. The presentation is there with the district improvement plan. I understand you already received your CD. So this time I come for the recommendation to approve the district improvement plan and the campus improvement plans for UISD.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion regarding the?
So move.
Second.
Motion a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Those opposed? None opposed, motion passes.
Thank you again for your support.
Agenda item 7, closed session. At this time, I'm going to recommend we go into closed session. Time is now 12:28 p.m. The board will adjourn into closed session and pursuant to section 551.071, 551.072, and 551.076 of the Texas Government Code to discuss agenda items A through C. We'll be back shortly. Thank you. For the record, Ms. Alisa Oliveros is present. We're moving to agenda item 8, reconvening from closed session. The time is now 1:39 p.m. And the board will take appropriate action on items if necessary as discussed in closed session. There is no recommendation on agenda item 8A regarding the grievance of Juan Escalera. Thank you, sir. All right, agenda 8B. Also on that one, there's no action needed at this point. No action, and we're at 8C. Yes, that's administration is recommending the approval of the district facility school safety and security audit report as presented in closed session. Motion to approve. Motion. Do we have a second? Motion a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 All those opposed? None opposed, motion passes. And agenda item 9, adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Motion second.
Have a good afternoon.
12:40 p.m.